I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, October 18th, 2022 meeting of the Danville City Council. Madam Clerk, roll call to establish a quorum, please.
Mayor Ricky Williams Jr.
Present.
Alderman Heidi Wilson.
Present.
Carolyn Wands.
Present.
James Bouchard. Bob Iverson.
Present.
Mike O'Kane.
Here.
Mike Poore.
Present.
Rick Streebing.
Here.
Sherry Pickering.
Here.
Ethan Burt.
Present.
Eve Ludwig.
Present.
Tricia Teague. Present. Robert Williams.
Present.
Darren York.
Present.
12 present.
12 present. Let the record reflect that Alderman Pichard did inform us that he would be unable to attend this evening. At this time, we will call forward for the invocation Reverend Lucius Barber, the pastor of Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Alderwoman Teague. Please rise.
O Lord our God, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. Even before you decided to bring the world forward, you was God, and you're still God. And so, God, we are here tonight honoring you and thanking you, not begging you, but thanking you for the many things that you have done for us and done through us. And we pray tonight, God, even for your peoples who have gathered here, and especially our leaders, the leaders of our city. We ask your blessings upon our leader, upon our mayor, and this council, even for standing firm and making tough decisions in hard times to help carry our city forward. Thank you for them. We pray that you would give them strength and give them wisdom to help make sound decisions that will strengthen our city, that will improve it, oh God, that will empower it, that we may be a better people, a better city. If you make us better, you'll make our city better. If you bless us, you bless our city. And God, we need your blessings, and we need your strength, we need your divine guidance. And we pray, God, that you would keep us all in your divine care. Guide us in your holy counsel, and lead us faithful from one good degree of grace unto another. And we as a people will be mindful and careful to not to forget you, but to give you the praise, the glory, and the honor that you deserve. Because we realize, God, without you, none of us would be able to do anything. But with you, all things are possible. And God, we thank you for giving us the opportunity, for giving us the privilege, God, to come together, God, in Jesus' name. Oh, Lord, we ask you many blessings. And we thank you again. And we say amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Barber. Is there anything that you would like to share with us about what's going on or what's been happening at the church recently?
Sure, I would. First of all, I'm thankful to God for what he is allowing me to do and being able to carry on. Started out as a young man, because y'all can see I'm still young, but we're still able to carry on. And God is still blessing us. We're still struggling, Mr. Mayor, but we're making progress in the midst of the struggle. I want to share that with you all, because God can bless you in the struggle. And he has enabled us to continue to do things that are helpful and meaningful to our city, to our peoples. In the midst of the pandemic, for the last 2 years, we was able to feed over 14,000 people, the little old church. And we are still carrying on. And we are thankful to God for what he is blessing us to do. And I am continuing to do what I was called to do. And I don't need to do any more if I can do that. But we want you to know that we appreciate all the support, because we couldn't have done what we've done without the city and the people helping us to do it. And I'm grateful, Mr. Mayor, for that. And I'm also, if you allow me to say this, I am grateful for what I see the city doing. Y'all have really put this city on the move. I was riding around just a few minutes ago and looking at the structure of the cars building going up, and I know y'all made it happen. And it is beautiful, but it's going to be something that will serve all the people who want to in Danville. And I want to say to y'all, keep on making progress. Even in the midst of your struggle, keep on making the progress. And God bless you, and God keep you, and truly may he continually to smile up on you.
Amen.
Thank
Those
you.
are my remarks, Mr.
Thank you
Mayor.
very much, Pastor Barber. May God bless you. Alderman, you have before you the minutes from the October 4th meeting. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate on those? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. The motion carries. You also have an agenda for this evening. There are no motions or additions or corrections. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. The motion carries. Now it's time for my report. I do not have any proclamations this evening. However, I'm very excited about our appointment, to fill our Ward 1 alderman. I apologize, I forgot to send it to you earlier, but you will see at your seat here, there is a letter from Ms. Ford regarding why she desires to be appointed. What I love about it is she came all the way through college here in Danville, and although she went away, she came back home, and ever since she's been home, she's been fighting for our city to make it better. I just appreciate her spirit, her heart, and her integrity, and I'm proud to, although I'm very sad to see Alderwoman Brown go, I'm very proud to appoint Ms. Ford in her place. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to concur with the appointment of Ms. Ford to Ward 1 Alderwoman to a term to expire April 2023.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Ms. Ford, if you would please come forward to the podium. I forgot to share this, but Miss Ford's sister, Miss Claudine Withers, was an across the street neighbor of us. And when we were young, she took good care of me and my sister. A lot of times when my parents were both working and going to school, she would be the one to get us off the bus, etc. So I've known this family a long time, and they are people of integrity. So I'm excited to appoint you at this time. If you would, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Elisa Ford,
I, Elisa Ford,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of
and
Illinois,
of the state of Illinois,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill,
to the best of my skill,
ability, and judgment,
ability, and judgment,
faithfully and impartially,
faithfully and impartially,
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
enjoined upon me
enjoined upon me
as Alderman, Ward 1
as Alderman Ward 1
of the City of Danville,
of the City of Danville,
County of Vermilion,
County of Vermilion,
State of Illinois.
State of Illinois.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. So, Ms. Ford, the floor is yours if you'd like to make a few statements. And then afterwards, if you would, just go back and you and our clerk will sign that, and then you will join us at the dais.
I just wanted to thank you and say I appreciate the fact that y'all accepted me here.
Ms. Ford, if you- And now with your nameplate, you're official. just for the audience, two things. One, Ms. Ford will not be voting with us this evening. She wants to have an opportunity to see our procedure, and we'll also have her orientation this next week. However, she will begin voting with us on November 1st. The second thing that I wanted you all to know is that I'm very proud to have appointed sadly, only our third black woman to the City Council. But again, as I'm reminded, and I'm thankful for the gentleman on the wall over there, because without them and so many other brave people, there would not have been any opportunity for me or many of you. We have 6 ladies on the council. There were no women prior to 1987. We have a number of minorities. There were no minorities prior to that time. So I'm proud to say that our council looks more and more like our community every day. Are there any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? Seeing none, items of information, I do want to go over one thing for you. You all have probably seen a lot of coverage in the media about the purchase of properties and the trusted properties that we attempted to purchase from the trustee. There are a couple of things that I need you to know, and I want to focus just on facts. First and foremost, this practice did not begin under my administration, but under that of Scott Eisenhower. Although he and I disagreed about many things, this is something that we agreed on, and in fact, the council supported it unanimously. Pre-auction purchase began on September 15th of 2015. It was item number 14B that evening. We purchased 24 properties prior to them going to the sale for a total of $16,000. This has been done every year for the 4 years prior to me becoming acting mayor, and we've done it every subsequent year. So you may ask me, Mayor Williams, why on earth would you want to buy property? There are a couple of reasons. The main goal is to eliminate blight in our community. I don't know about you all, but I get calls all the time from our constituents saying that they're tired of the bad house next door. If we own the house, then we have an opportunity to get rid of that mess. I'm very proud. We went from only tearing down about 20 houses a year to over 108 last year, and over 300 since I've become your mayor. And I'm really proud of our Public Works Department and the leadership that they've taken in making that happen as efficiently and effectively as possible. And I know our neighbors throughout the city are thankful that we've been working on that. The other reason is we want to ensure the dignity of housing for our residents. We want to prevent poor folks from being taken advantage of. What happened a lot in the past is these houses would go for the minimum bid on the action. Someone would purchase them, and then they would make no investment in the property. They wouldn't update the siding. They wouldn't update the inside. They would leave people oftentimes to live in squalor. And I don't know about you all, but that's not acceptable to me. Humans should not be treated like that ever. Worse yet, there were some people who not only made no investment in the property, but they didn't even pay their taxes. Then what would happen next is after 3 years of paying no taxes, it would come up yet on another auction. And the next slumlord, who was even scuzzier than the first one, would buy it. And they would sit there and rot and rot and rot. That is not okay for our community. It is not okay for our neighbors. And I will fight against that with everything that I have. I want to also give you some facts about the properties. There's a lot of rumor going on about, oh, you purchased so many lots and things like that. Well, first you should know that of the 120 lots that we are purchasing from the county trustee, 52 were previously unsold at tax sales. That means for more than a year, anyone in the county or in the country or in the world for that matter who wishes to buy them could have done so, and they chose not to. So no money was being realized off of these properties as they continued to sit and some of them rot. Of those properties, there were 8 bad houses. 30 are in flood zones where we don't want people living and building houses because there are places in our community where folks can't even get insurance because their areas have flooded so many times. 5 were for infrastructure, and of the other 9, many of them had dumping on them. So again, even though there wasn't a house, people were being forced to live with and deal with trash and vermin. That is not acceptable in the city of Danville. Of the other 68 properties, There were 59 that were abandoned, dilapidated structures. I forgot to ask them to put together the presentation, but if you could see some of these houses, all I would ask you is, would you want to live next to them? Would you want to see things falling down? Would you want to have people, would you want to have prostitutes and drug addicts breaking in and out at all time of the hours of the night? Would you want animals that make those places their homes coming over and then tearing up your property? And the answer is no. None of us, not one decent person would want that, or neither would they allow that in their community. Furthermore, of the 9 lots that we purchased, 2 were for infrastructure, for the movement of roads or other infrastructure such as sewer utility. And then there were 7 for redevelopment. And yes, absolutely, we took a few properties for redevelopment, and here's why. Number one, if, for example, one of the properties was for Kirshner, the projected revenue for their new store is going to be going up well over $1 million a year. What does that mean? That means more sales tax revenue for the people of Danville that can be used on things that are good for us. What else does that mean? That also means additional jobs for our community. What else does it mean? It means that we're getting rid of blighted structures in our community. A couple of the properties were for the Garfield Park project, and I know that there are some people who don't support that for various reasons. However, I believe, and I believe this council believes, that it's important for us to have a quality aquatic facility in the city of Danville. That is something that the people here deserve. And for the cost of less than $3 a year, it's more than worth it for us to make this happen. So I submit to you today that we are hoping that the Vermilion County Board will support us in the acquisition of these properties, because Danville is in fact a part of Vermilion County, and we want Danville to be just as nice as everywhere else. And I believe that the members of the board will stand with us and support the purchase of these properties in the end, because it's about improving the quality of life for Danville and Vermilion County. You guys see it all the time. I say we are Danville and Danville is us, and here's why. Because as Danville goes the county. Listen, I'm from Westville originally. I love my little town. I have 2 hometowns, Danville and Westville, right? But if Danville fails to exist, or if we fail in Danville, it adversely affects every other city in this county. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me today, and I hope that the media will convey our sentiments on this widely. Chairman Poor.
Now, Mayor, I remember that, and like you say, the main reason was to acquire properties that we could demo, so out-of-state landlords wouldn't buy them sight unseen, and like the mayor said, not invest a darn thing in them, and then 3 years later to be back on the tax roll again. There's been a lot of stuff on Facebook, and Mr. Hawker doesn't always tell the facts. So I'm glad you brought that out, that it's not Mayor Williams buying these properties. We as a council representing the city of Danville are the ones buying these properties. And I just hope that the county board has, the sense to allow us to continue to do this. As you said, it's been, I was thinking close to 7 years we've been doing this. Are we going to send any kind of a letter or anything, or?
We could certainly consider that. I have spoken with Chairman Bond. I don't believe it will be a problem for us moving forward.
Okay.
I also have spoken to a number of the representatives on the county board, and I believe this was nothing more than the appeasement of one person. I believe that the members of the Vermilion County Board stand with the Danville City Council in making life better for their citizens.
Because there's several houses in our ward that were on the demo list as we were purchasing them that had to be pulled off because of the stunt that Mr. Hawker pulled.
Yes, it's most unfortunate. Yes, Alderman Williams.
Yes, in the sale of these properties, is there any way we can put any stipulations as to bringing these up to code during the period the owner has them in their possession?
So you will be proud to know that we were, Corporation Counsel Simon and our Community Development Administrator, Logan Cronk, worked and put together an agreement with the Vermilion County trustee that all purchasers of property have to sign. And in that, they say that if they will either enter it as a vacant structure if it's empty. They will register it as a rental property if it's rental, or if it's in derelict condition, they have 30 days to fix it, and if not, then the city of Danville obtains the right to demolish it ourselves.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Something else that I think should be considered is you talk about economic development. We want to get these lots back on the rolls. It's not like we're buying lots for $800 and then selling them for $99. What we are doing is buying terribly blighted houses and then after we demolish them, selling them to a neighbors. Why do we do that? Number one, because we won't have to mow them anymore. It costs us about $30 a lot to mow those every time. We mow them once a month for around 8 to 9 months a year. Also, it gives people extra lots, extra room so that they can grow and expand. If they want to put in a garden, if they want to put in a pool, if they want just a place for their children or grandchildren to be able to play, it allows them that. So it's something that's good for quality of life, but it also puts property back on the tax roll. And in the end, you can't tell me, even if for these 7 properties where we are working on development, if we can put $10 million worth of development into this community, the tax return that the county and other bodies are going to receive is way more than the maybe $1,000 or $1,500 that they would receive if we were forced to compete with people bidding for them. So, any other comments on that? Thank you very much. On to a lighter note, I want to tell you that we have a lot of fun events coming up. Our First Fridays continue. The first Friday of November, we will have Potter Fest downtown. There's a Quidditch tournament. There's all kinds of things going on at the library. The Fisher will be showing the 4th iteration of the movie, so we're excited to have you all down for that. I believe Chairman Streaming might be dressing up as a special character for us. And that's true, actually. That's true at his request. So we're really excited for that. Then 2 other big events that we have before the end of the year we hope everyone will participate in. Number 1, on Good Friday, we will have our 2nd annual lighting ceremony downtown, where we light up all of the lights on North Vermilion Street, Vermilion Street, and the surrounding areas. We will also have free hot chocolate and caroling, so we hope you'll enjoy us. Some of the vendors are going to be staying open later that evening. And then the first Friday in December, we will have our Night of Lights Parade. That'll be at 6 o'clock, and we're excited to have you all there. That concludes my report. Madam Clerk, do we have any petitions, communications, or audience comments?
I haven't received any cards this evening. Did anyone wish to speak?
Seeing none, we do not have any zoning petitions. However, we do have the payrolls for October 7th and October 14th. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard, Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague, Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. You also have before you the vouchers payable of October 11th and October 18th, 2022, as well as a special run for October 13th, 2022. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Yes, Alderwoman Teague.
I have a few questions just out of curiosity. So one is, I don't know what page it's on. I didn't write down the page number. There was a transaction to Barry's for 411 North Vermilion for the amount, I wrote down a lot of stuff, but not the page number, 6964. I think it was on the October 11th vouchers. And I was curious as to, when you think of berries, you think of flowers. So I'm sure there's more to it than that. And so just to be able to know what it was for.
Yeah, so that was related to landscaping improvements at 411 North Vermilion. That's in the Midtown TIF area. So I believe that was a TIF expenditure. They basically requested a partnership where they would invest so much in landscaping improvements, and then we would partner to have the actual landscaping installed. So they did
This
curbing.
is the property owner of that location?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just sometimes we have redevelopment agreements or other things. This was one where we worked out a deal where we would pay some of the expenses direct to Barry's upon their completion of other items
Okay.
through the TIF. So
And then the other questions that I had were on page 2 of 4 on the October 11th. There was one for, I believe, legal expenses for Laner and Muchin. Is that related to a case or hearings, or what was that related to?
I didn't hear the full question.
There was a legal expenditure, I didn't write down the amount, but it's on page 2, to Laner and Muchin.
Yes, I can answer that. It's for our outside labor council.
Okay. And then the last question I had was on page 4 of 4 for October 11th for Lockmuller Group for Transportation Planning and Grants Application Service. I'm assuming there's something that's come up before for us. I'm just trying to recall what this was for.
yes, it's something that agreement that came before. It's through the Danville Area Transportation Study
Okay.
side of things, but it's basically a transportation planning assistance and things that they're providing to us.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions.
Thank you, Alderwoman Teague. Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pashard, Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. I apologize that it's in an unusual place, but we do have a need to go into closed session. It's to discuss the acquisition of property. At this time, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session under Section 2C5 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss the purchase of real property.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Iverson,
Yes.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes. This time we'll be adjourned to closed session. We only have one item of discussion. There will be action taken after the meeting. Would entertain a motion to return to open session.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. At this time, we will receive our Public Works Committee report. Chairman Poor.
Thank you, Mayor. 12A is an ordinance providing for the payment of certain outstanding bonds of the Danville Public Building Commission. Move to dispense with reading, ask for your approval.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman O'Kane?
Yes.
Poor?
Yes.
Strebing?
Yes.
Pickering?
Yes.
Burt?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard? Iverson?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
No objection. I'd like to take 12B and 12C together. They're both ordinances dealing with the purchase of real estate for community improvement. One's property is 1128 East Fairchild and 1130 East Fairchild and 1510 Valley View Avenue, and the other is property at 1218 East Fairchild. Move to dispense with reading, ask for your approval.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote,
We're doing
please.
B, C, and D, is that?
B and C together.
B and C, okay.
Yes.
Chairman Poor?
Yes.
Chairman Strebing?
Yes.
Alderman Pickering?
Yes.
Burt?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard? Iverson?
Yes,
O'Kane?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
12D is an ordinance vacating an alley near 3215 North Vermillion Street for petitioner Squirrels Real Estate. Move to dispense with reading, ask for your approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Chairman Strebing?
Yes.
Alderman Pickering?
Yes.
Burt?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard? Iverson?
yes,
O'Kane?
Yes.
Poor?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
No objection. I'd like to take 12E, F, and G together. These all deal with amending contracts. We'll take 12E and F. Amending contracts for seal code and for countryway drainage improvement. Move to dispense with reading, ask for your approval.
second,
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pickering?
Yes.
Burt?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard? Iverson?
yes,
O'Kane?
Yes.
Poor?
Yes.
Strebing?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
The next two items, G and H, both deal with software. If there's no objection, I'd take those together. G is awarding the contract bid 705, Building Safety Code Enforcement Business License Software, and authorizing a budget amendment to the fiscal year 22-23 budget. H is approving a one-year extension of Environmental Code Enforcement Software License Agreement. Move to dispense with reading, ask for your approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burt?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard? Iverson?
yes,
O'Kane?
Yes.
Poor?
Yes.
Strebing?
Yes.
Pickering?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
12I is a resolution amending the contract for construction engineering services for the Denmark and Old Ottawa roadway and pedestrian improvements, and amending the fiscal year 22-23 Fund 107 infrastructure development budget. Move to dispense with reading, ask for your approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard? Iverson?
yes,
O'Kane?
Yes.
Poor?
Yes.
Strebing?
Yes.
Pickering?
Yes.
Burt?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
No objection. I'd like to take 12J and K together. These both deal with agreements for provision for electricity for city-owned buildings and for city-owned streetlights. Move to dispense with reading, ask for your approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Teague?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard? Iverson?
yes,
O'Kane?
Yes.
Poor?
Yes.
Strebing?
Yes.
Pickering?
Yes.
Burt?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
And 12L, items of information. Nothing? No items of information. We don't have to plow snow tonight, so that's one good thing.
That's good.
not yet.
That concludes our report, Mayor.
Thank you, Chairman Poor. At this time, we will receive our Public Services Committee report. Chairman Streaming.
Well, don't really have any items of information except we'll meet here in these chambers at 6 p.m. October 25th, I believe. It's a Tuesday. That's all we've got.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah.
At this time, we will receive the first draft of our 2022 tax levy and fiscal year 2022, 23 to 24 budget. I will turn it over to our comptroller. As we get things ready for you electronically, I just want to thank you and the department heads for all the hard work that you've done to get this ready. I'm proud of the budget that we've come up with, and I hope that you'll find it to your satisfaction. Alderwoman Ford, the way this works is we present a draft of the initial budget to you, then you all have some time to mull it over. We continue to discuss it at each of the committee and council meetings. And then as soon as we have the tax levy information, we'll do the final update of that, and then hopefully put it to you all for final approval come December. Yes, it's also in your drop. I apologize. It's also, thank you for that reminder. It's also in your Dropbox on your iPad. So.
All right, good evening.
Hello.
It is my absolute pleasure to present this budget, fiscal year 2023-2024, with additional projections for fiscal year 24-25 and 25-26. You can find copies of the draft budget in your inbox. I emailed those to you this afternoon in your Dropbox. And if you can't find them in either of those places, they are also on the city website already. So anyone can reference the draft budget and the capital improvement plan. Those are both on the city website under the finance division page. So let's go ahead and get started. Here's just an overview of the general budget. So the general fund budget projected for fiscal year 23-24 is $38,785,962. That's a pretty substantial increase from last year, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Also included in the budget, I pulled it out just since this fund is only going to be in use for 4 to 6 years from now. The American Rescue Plan budget, $24,704,400. And all of the other funds are $39,187,678. So that brings our total city budget to $102,678,040, with interdepartmental transfers of $13.6 million. The general tax revenue projections, the total general fund tax revenue projection for this year is $34,130,000. This is a 14.31% increase to tax revenues from prior year. This is largely due to the anticipated casino tax revenue, which the city expects to begin collecting in June 2023. It's very important to note that all of the casino tax that is included in this budget is slated for additional pension payments, or a small percentage is set aside for additional infrastructure projects. No operating expenses are funded by casino tax revenue in this budget, so we're fairly confident the casino tax revenue is coming. However, in the event that it did not realize in the time frame that we expected, we just wouldn't be able to make those additional payments on top of our statutory obligation that we're planning to make, and we would pull the very small amount from the infrastructure. So the total general fund departmental revenue projections, $4,681,022. This is the point where I would start talking about what our expected pension actuary recommendation is, or statutory obligation is. We do not have our actuary for our pensions back yet. I could make guesses of what those amounts are going to be, but I'd just rather not do that. After discussing it with the mayor, I'm going to bring a draft levy to you on November 1st. That's 2 weeks before our tax levy hearing. That's plenty of time to get it out so the public can see it. I just would rather bring you real numbers instead of guessed numbers. We do know what we think we'll collect in public safety pension fee and what we plan to contribute from the general fund. So as you can see, for the fire pension, we plan to collect $1.68 million in public safety pension fee, and the general fund's going to contribute $3.522 million. And then for police pension, $1.12 million in public safety pension fee and $2.348 million in general fund contribution. Again, over 85% of the projected casino tax revenue is slated for pension contributions. Some enterprise funds information. You can see the Harrison Park Golf Course, storm and sanitary sewer, and solid waste enterprise funds. All enterprise fund budgets equal $11,016,377. And then that's actually down slightly from fiscal year 22-23.
Comptroller, may I?
Mhm.
Just for one moment. One thing I did want to mention to you is that currently we do anticipate requesting the same amount that we did last year for property taxes. So we, as you all know, instead of asking for a percentage, we ask for a certain amount. And so with that certain amount, us asking for the same as last year, we hope that maybe the tax rates will stay at least the same and possibly go down a smidge. Property tax rates.
Yes. So in the fiscal year 23-24 budget, you will also find a new fund. We are creating the new municipal pool fund. This will allow us to track revenues and expenses associated with the pool outside of the general fund. This will also create a separate accounting entity, the purpose of the fund, so that we can put money away year over year for maintenance items, right? So we don't end up in the same situation that we're at with the Garfield pool now. Where we need a grant to be able to fix it. So that's the purpose of Fund 406 is the number I arbitrarily chose. So you will be presented with a separate ordinance to vote on for the creation of this fund. So when I bring to you the draft ordinances associated with the levy, there will also be an additional ordinance at that same time approving the creation of this new fund. This is just something we have to do to have on the books so that the auditors can reference when they're helping assemble our financial statements. There's just certain disclaimers we have to have in there. So you can just look forward to that and expect that to come. Personnel and staffing related items. In the budget, you will find requests for 3 new positions. Those are listed here: digital marketing manager in the public affairs division, an additional code enforcement officer in environmental code enforcement, and an IT support specialist in the information technology division. The draft budget includes city personnel receiving a 2% increase in fiscal year 23-24 unless otherwise indicated by a collective bargaining agreement, of course. And then the draft budget does not include any other raises than the traditional 2% because we're waiting to see what the results of the wage study are done. As you remember, in the current year budget, fiscal year 22-23, you approved $25,000 to be set aside for a wage study for all city employees. That's in the early stages. We don't have any results back yet. We haven't even selected a vendor. But we want to wait and see what that has to say before we evaluate any other raises. Also included in this budget is $500,000 to be set aside for any wage study actionables. So let's say that this wage study comes back before the end of the current fiscal year, which it should, and we hope it will. And let's say there's some items identified in that wage study that we just can't sit on until the next fiscal year. We have money set aside to address those. If the city decides not to address those, and by the city I mean the council, if they decide not to address them, then at that time we'll evaluate what to do with this $500,000.
One of the things that I was really proud of this past year is you all supported. Unfortunately, back in 2015, there was a promise made to employees that they would get everyone at least to the mid-range of their salary, and that did not happen until you all helped me make it happen, and we were able to bring folks up to the midpoint. And that would be kind of our general guiding principle, and our hope is to get people up to at least the midpoint of whatever their new salary range. Unlike in the past, we don't expect to intervene and have a lot of unnecessary influence, because unfortunately, it's my opinion that some positions were discounted in the past and not given their full worth. So that's one of the reasons why we're going to work with an outside party and do little to intervene.
Our commercial insurance package, we are set to meet with our commercial insurance broker tomorrow. That's general liability and workers' comp insurance. In the second draft of the budget, I will have hard numbers for you on that. I have some estimates, of course, keyed into the budget. IMRF, this is good news. Current fiscal year, we're budgeted at 6.17%. IMRF projected that Our contribution rate should be at 2.91%, and so we are budgeting a 3% contribution for IMRF. This just continues to go down. A huge change over the last 2 fiscal years is we paid off our early retirement incentive. Some of you may remember that. That has made a huge difference in our IMRF required contribution rate. It used to be in the around 9%, so we're very pleased with this.
IMRF is an acronym, of course, for Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. So
Yes, yeah, the employer portion is what we're talking about here, what we're required to pay for IMRF eligible employees. Insurance benefits, more good news. We've had some preliminary meetings with our broker regarding our health insurance renewal rate. They were able to get us a very competitive offer of only a 2% increase. This will be coming to you November 1st, so we are planning to move back to Blue Cross Blue Shield with only a 2% increase in rates. We've had a lot of feedback from employees about their current experience, and hopefully Blue Cross learned from their stunt last year where they tried to give us a 17% increase. So we shall see. But anyway, so that's what's in the budget is those 2% increase rates. And then for January 24, we're budgeting a 10% increase. Obviously, we hope that doesn't take place, but we just want to be ready in the event that it does. Because if we don't budget it, then we're really in a pickle if we don't have it. We spend almost $4 million a year on health insurance, so we need to make sure we're ready. Voluntary life, vision, and dental, those are 100% employee paid, but just in case you're curious, they're very minimal changes, a couple cents, so really no impact to the employee. I have 2 slides of unique budgetary items. The first one is, of course, the capital improvement plan that was created this year to be used as a budgeting and planning tool. The CIP will be available. It's currently available now. Sorry, I wasn't anticipating it being done yet. But it's currently on the city website. Again, aggressive additional payments have been budgeted towards the pensions, $3.5 million for fire and $2.3 million for police. As is the case every year, once the city goes through open enrollment, many of the budgets are subject to change as we budget on an individualized basis for our group insurances. So once we go through open enrollment, which should begin November 2nd, assuming the council decides to approve everything on November 1st, I will be rolling out a second draft budget that we go employee by employee in every single budget and apply their health insurance choices, so we know exactly what we are spending on health insurance for every employee in every fund. So just be aware that when I bring the second budget, if everyone moves to family insurance from employee insurance only, that's going to have a budgetary impact. So just a disclaimer there. This budget includes $20,000 added for a part-time position for the treasurer's office. There's a significant increase in computer service and support expense line due to currently used and requested software. As has been discussed at council many times, IT security is of the utmost importance these days, and our vendors know that. And some of our current softwares that we use, the prices have gone up. And then also we'd like to take on some additional softwares that we think can help next fiscal year. That's going to be reflected in budget line in the general fund under Division 20-52009. All salaries previously located in the DATS fund, Fund 116, have been relocated to the general fund due to the outstanding sentences. We're unsure about the future of the DATS program, so just to be sure, we've relocated those salaries just to make sure that they're covered. Hopefully DATS will continue, and if it does, we can always just bill back the grant program for any personnel time spent on DATS, but this way we're planning on the cautious side. And then $100,000 has been set aside for a parks facilities study under the Parks Division budget and the general fund. So if you have any questions as you review, as always, whether you're an alderman or a citizen, you can contact me. My phone number is up here. The address of City Hall, and then my email is amassey@cityofdanville.org. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has. And of course, you can schedule an appointment with me and we can go through the budget page by page if you'd like. So that's my presentation. I do want to show you a quick overview of the capital improvement plan.
Comptroller.
Yes.
If we may, Alderman, does anyone have any preliminary, I know you're literally just hearing this, any preliminary questions, thoughts, comments before we talk about the capital improvement plan? Yes, Vice Mayor.
I just think, as you say, I haven't gone through here to know details, but I find it significant and admirable that we have a 3-year budget plan. Very few governmental bodies, very few of us households can actually plan out a 3-year plan. And even though we know it'll change, to have a basic background, I think, is a really good thing.
Thanks, Vice Mayor. Vice Chairman.
So is our population causing the DAP problem, or is the federal government changing their ideas?
It's primarily our population, I think, but it is federally regulated. So I also want to be sure that I let you know that the comptroller has included reduced reimbursements for things like our motor fuel tax fund and things that are based on our population. So, you've heard some speculation from audience members in the past saying, oh, well, they're not even considering how this is going to affect us with our decreased population. We'll get less money. This budget and moving forward does include that as part of the budget.
Yeah, so on the
Sorry, I may have gotten ahead of myself.
That's okay. On the screen behind Mayor, you'll see it's page 11 of 138. There's just a small little blurb about what our population was deemed in fiscal year 21, 22, 23, and 24. We already factored in for fiscal year 22, 23 a population of 29,204. We didn't wait. So you can see the numbers based on the IML projections, our estimation per capita, the budget we adopted, and then there's an actuals collected row that for fiscal year 22-23, obviously we're not done with that yet, but this is a projection based on what we've collected year to date. We're halfway through, so times 2, that's what we anticipate to collect, and it tells you where we're going to end up budget wise, right? So the very first row, sorry, it's kind of small. Let me see if I can make it. So state income tax, for example, the projection per capita was $125.20. I show what the estimation was, the budget we adopted, and then we're expected to end up 1.5 million over budget based on what we collected and how we're trending year to date. So as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year, I'll be bringing things like that back to you, asking, what would you wish to do with this? And I'll be evaluating that against other revenue lines, right? So you'll see right underneath it, state use tax, we are trending to come in $73,000 under budget. So are we going to have extra? Is it going to come out in the wash between various revenue lines? We'll see that towards the end of the fiscal year. But yes, these per capita revenue lines are in the budget. You can evaluate them since fiscal year 21 moving forward. So that is in there. Okay. Were there any other questions about the budget before I just hit a few things on the capital improvement plan? Okay, so in front of you is the capital improvement plan for 24, 25, and 26. At the beginning of the capital plan, you'll find a project master list. So on the project master list, as you can probably infer, is every project that was requested from every division and department across the city for this capital plan. There's various columns here indicating whether that project within this plan is funded in a particular fiscal year or whether it is deemed as unfunded. The great thing about a capital plan is that everyone brings their requests together at the same time, and they are evaluated based on what money we actually have and which funds, which imply certain uses for that money. So we can't take motor fuel tax and buy vehicles with motor fuel tax. That's not what it's for. Motor fuel tax fund money is for maintenance of roads. So we can only put projects that qualify for motor fuel in the motor fuel tax fund. So that's what this project master list is. On the next page, you'll see what the capital improvement plan requests for the fiscal year total, what we have budgeted, and what the difference is. There are a few items here that have, you'll see the difference is red. It's a negative number. Sorry, it's very small. For example, I left these here. We do have, while those are over budget in those instances, we do have reserves to cover those. So that is the only reason that they are left red like that. But I just wanted you to be able to compare, okay, there's all these requests, but where do I see that in the budget? The numbers here, there's a row for the budget for fiscal year will translate directly to the budget you're going to be looking at. So you'll be able to tie that out easily. And then as you move forward, I have summary sheets by division or department with a list of the requests for that particular department. So Mass Transit, for example, they had 3 requests. Only their requests are on this sheet. It gives the same totals as in the project master list, and then there's just some helpful graphs to help you kind of evaluate the information. So if you'll humor me, I'm going to go to information. Let's go to fire. So here's the fire capital improvement request. They're listed here, what years they're funded in and whether it's unfunded. And then at the bottom, the graph tells you how the requests are planned to be paid for. So in this capital plan, the fire requests, 75% is going to be grant funded. They're getting 2 trucks with ARPA. That's the current plan. And then the rest is coming out of the capital improvement plan. And then the consistency of capital investment, I just really liked this graph because it shows over time, so fiscal year 23, 24, 25, whether the investment is even or not, or if we're making, one time hitting that department division really hard with investment. So in this case, fires is kind of a bell curve because of the American Rescue Plan Act funds being put towards fire trucks. However, if you look at the police division, we have budgeted for the last couple of years and plan to in the future a set amount set aside for squad cars because we don't want our fleet to be run down. So we have already been planning on that. We plan to continue to plan on that. So many cars a year, and you'll see, it's pretty consistent investment year over year. So that's just a couple things. If you're interested, the capital improvement plan number, each request has a unique CIP number. It's a unique identifier to help keep everything straight. The code to that is the first three digits are division or fund. The second 2 digits are what the fiscal year it was originally requested for. So you may see that second digit, fiscal year 27, may not be in fiscal year 27 for funding because once we started looking at revenues and when things could be afforded, it may have not matched up that way. It may have been moved up. It may have been moved back. It may be in unfunded, and we don't know when we're going to be able to pay for it, but that's what that number is when it was originally requested for. And then the last 2 digits are just sequential. So, and then every request has a CIP request form. These were filled out by the departments and divisions to give you, the mayor, my office, and the public justification as to why they're asking for what they're asking for. So that's all in here. Some have pictures, some don't. But this gives us the ability to make very strategic decisions. So when we look at this and we see things are unfunded and we're very passionate, we say, we want this funded, for example, any project that's unfunded. That's fine. We can figure out how to pay for it, but what has to go? Because right now we're maximizing our budget to the best of our ability. So it's an even playing field. All requests are here. There's not anything or there shouldn't be anything that comes later as a surprise in the capital realm. If not, it'll be on next year's capital plan, but I'm very excited about this. So yeah, are there any questions about the capital plan?
Alderwoman Teague.
Was there anything, so I'm looking through, I was just scrolling through and seeing, some of these have requirement level required. Was there anything that was marked as required that ended up being unfunded?
That's a great question. I'd have to go back and look.
Okay. Obviously we have time.
Yeah.
So, and then there was another question I can't remember right now, so I'll ask later or maybe send you an email if I think of it after the meeting.
I'm really proud, we haven't had a capital improvement plan since I can remember, and it's only 3 years. We would like to get to 5 years, but we feel like this is a good start. I want to really thank our comptroller and deputy comptroller for all the work that you guys did to make this happen. Also for our department and division heads, everyone did a lot of work. I mean, it takes a lot of work to do this kind of thing on top of all the other things that we're doing. So I really appreciate the investment that you all made, because I think it helps us paint an accurate picture of where we are and what we need as a community. And what you'll see, unfortunately, as you look at the capital improvement plan, are there tens of millions of dollars of things that we need that we don't have the money for. So that's where we've got to, figure out what can we do, what grants can we write, what other kind of investments can we make that can help us kind of make up the difference in some places without placing that on the back of our people or our businesses. But I'm really proud of the work that we did. There's still going to be more work to do. As Comptroller said, we have insurance numbers and such that we have to insert, but I'm proud that we can look the people in the face and say, look, we have a plan, and we're going to work that plan to make things as good as possible for all of us. Does anyone have any questions or comments about that? Comptroller, thank you very much, and all the department and division heads, thank you all for all of your efforts. It's much appreciated. At this time, are there any items of information for the good of the cause? Yes, Alderwoman Pickering.
I would just like to thank Patrick Surgeon and Steve Lane for helping with our cleanup in the Elmwood Park. It was very successful, so I appreciate that. And also the residents, and I would like to thank anyone that was involved with the Beard Street project. It was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Are there any other items of information for the good of the cause? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Have a great evening, everyone.